These three sisters travel to their aunt's house, but something terrible awaits them there until their lives are at stake. At the beginning of the film, a woman named Cora is in a small town after shopping at a small shop. Meanwhile, her dog feels something is wrong while staring at the forest. Cora is warned by the shopkeeper not to walk when it gets dark because it will be dangerous. Especially since there is a myth that says that in the city there is a monster that eats humans on Halloween night. Cora doesn't really believe what the shopkeeper said. She only believes in God. Cora and her dog go home by car with her dog barking continuously along the road. The dog looks like it wants to jump and break the car window. And when Cora stops, her dog jumps out of the car window and goes into the forest. Cora screams for her dog, but there is no answer. Then she faintly hears her dog groaning in pain, but still can't find where he is. Not long after, lightning strikes and a spark appears and starts to attack Cora. Cora limps to her car with quite serious injuries. Meanwhile, a woman named Emma woke up from her sleep because of a nightmare. She and her two sisters named Marley and Sarah were heading to their aunt's house. None other than Cora. Because Emma woke up from her nightmare, Sarah stopped the car and they pulled over for a moment. Actually, Marley didn't want to go on this trip. She didn't want to leave the city where they were born. Sarah invited them, of course. There was a reason, and it was all because their parents had died in an accident. They had no one else, except Aunt Cora. Even so, Marley still didn't like Sarah's decision. After that, they continued their journey and arrived at a pier. To get to Aunt Cora's house, they had to cross using a ferry. But the pier looked deserted, and then a man appeared and said that it would be better if they turned back. The man didn't suggest that Sarah and her sisters go to the island, especially on a Halloween night like this. Even though Sarah had been advised, she still wanted to go there. Then, another young man named Seth appeared who also wanted to go to the island. At that time, Sarah and Marley didn't realize that Emma wasn't in the car. They tried to find her and entered the forest. Then, Seth surprised Sarah when he saw Emma near the pier. After finding Emma, Sarah and her sister finally headed to the island by ferry. Night was approaching and the cold weather made the city very quiet, especially since no one was visible. Where did everyone go? Sarah kept driving until she didn't realize that their car had run out of gas. They had no choice but to walk, but they felt something was scaring them. They walked hurriedly until Emma fell. Aunt Cora's house was not far from there, but they saw their aunt's car on the side of the road with lots of bloodstains. Sarah asked Marley and Emma to go into Aunt Cora's house first, while she would check the car. Sarah was shocked to see Aunt Cora's gruesome body with both of her eyes missing. Then from behind, there was another woman who told Sarah she's here. Sarah took the woman in to be treated, but it seemed her injuries were too serious. The woman asked Sarah to be careful. Sarah had to take the woman to the hospital for treatment, so they planned to get gas from Aunt Cora's car for their car. But unfortunately, their car disappeared somewhere, so they just took Aunt Cora's car. When Marley picked up Emma, suddenly the woman was thrown out of the house by something. The woman was dead, but her hand was holding Emma's leg, so Marley cut off the woman's hand using a small axe. Sarah, Marley, and Emma managed to escape. Meanwhile, a monster appeared from the woman's body. The monster was the one that terrorized and killed Aunt Cora. When they arrived in the city, everything was in disarray. It seemed like something had happened. And again, Emma disappeared. Sarah and Marley started looking for Emma and split up. Marley entered the shop, and an old man asked her to leave immediately because it was dangerous. Not long after, the monster appeared again and killed the old man. Marley also almost became a victim of the monster, but luckily a man came with a gun and shot the monster. Marley was invited to join the man named Toby into a small cafe, where it turned out that many survived. One of them was Seth. Then Sarah was also there tied up. She seemed to be unable to keep still and always screamed. So Seth tied her up because screaming would invite the monster. So what exactly is the monster and where did it come from? Seth is the one who understands it best. Even though at first he didn't believe it, the myth turned out to be true. In the past, this city was hit by a fairly large storm on Halloween night, killing some of its residents. The storm turned out to be no ordinary storm. There was a story behind the storm that killed some of its residents. In the past, some residents sacrificed 6 girls, burned them, and used them as materials for practicing magic. Some residents were believed to summon the storm before the 6 girls died. Then, lightning struck them and pulled their souls along with the storm. Now, they come back on Halloween night for revenge and will kill every resident in this city. But the problem is Emma is still outside, and Toby does not allow anyone to leave the cafe. But one of them, named Alex, wants to help Marley and Sarah. For him, it is better for him to die because he saves human lives than to stay silent without doing anything, and maybe the monster can catch them. In the middle of the argument, a woman's voice was heard asking for help from the parking lot. The woman was seen being attacked by the monster, but it seemed like it was just a trap. Toby, again, forbade anyone from leaving there. But Alex and some of them preferred to save Emma, who was believed to have been kidnapped by the monster. In the end, only Seth went with Toby. They will hide in the refrigerator to survive the monster's attack. When Marley, Sarah, and the others left the cafe, Toby and Seth got into trouble. The monster suddenly entered through the air gap to eat Toby. Seth, who tried to escape, also could not save himself. In the end, they both died. Meanwhile, Marley tries to create a diversion by making a car explode, so Alex, Sarah, and Nicole can enter the police station to look for weapons or anything that can be used to survive. Some weapons are found, then Sarah sees a map of the city. Alex said that he saw the monster taking its victims and heading to a forest far from the city. Maybe Emma is there. But soon the monster appears and attacks Alex until he dies. Then, Nicole becomes the next victim. Sarah is unable to save them, and in the end, only she and Marley are left. Sarah invites Marley to go to the location where the monster might have taken Emma. There they find the ritual site that Seth talked about. They find a woman buried under a pole. The woman says that they have to be careful because the monster will eat them all. Marley finds Emma buried under another pole. Then the woman is pulled by the monster, and now Marley, Sarah, and Emma are in danger. There is no other way but to attract the monster's attention. So Sarah faces it, but she is thrown. Luckily, Sarah was still alive, and they entered a sealed underground room. Emma had a vision that Marley and Sarah would not survive, so she didn't want that to happen. Fate had already set in motion, and Sarah lured the monster away so Marley and Emma could escape. After killing Sarah, the monster targeted Marley. Marley and Emma managed to get out. But Marley tried to fight by stabbing a long stick into the monster, accompanied by lightning. Emma approached Marley, who looked weak. Marley asked Emma to get help because she couldn't move. But the monster was still alive and tried to eat Marley. Emma screamed while challenging the monster. Then Emma moved aside, causing the sunlight to hit the monster until it was destroyed. Sarah's efforts were not in vain. Marley and Emma survived the monster, and it was time for them to return home.